Good morning, everyone, or good evening, depends on when you are watching this program. Hope all of you are well. Let us begin our Gita study with a prayer from the Shiva Mahimna Stotram. You are all familiar with that Shiva Mahimna Stotram, a very nice, beautiful hymn in praise of Lord Shiva, composed by a Gandharva. It is on page 172 of this book, Universal Prayers, top of page 172. Om Asita Girisamam Syat Kajjalam Sindhu Patre Surataru Varashakha Lekani Patramurvi Likhati Yadi Grihitva Sharada Sarvakalam Tadapi Tava Gunanam Ishaparam Nayati. Using the biggest branch of the celestial tree as the writing instrument, the ocean as the ink pot, and the blue mountain as the ink, and using the whole earth as the writing surface, if the goddess of learning, Sharada herself, were to start writing down your glories, even if she continues to write until eternity, even then, O Lord, your glories cannot be fully described. Infinite are your glories. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. And may there be peace everywhere in nature. We have been studying chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti means manifestation of special power. Manifestation means the power that in everything, God's power that is visible to us through the sense organs. Sometimes it is not visible, but many times, in almost everything, we can see the power of God. How to see, recognize the power of God, the presence of God in everything, is the topic of this chapter 10. So far, Bhagavan has given so many examples. In each category of things, one thing stands out. The last one we studied was in verse number 23, Meru Shikharinamaham, verse number 23, Rudranam Shankaraschasmi, Vittesho Yaksharakshasam, Vasunam Pavakaschasmi, Meru Shikharinamaham. Shikhara means the peak of a mountain. Shikharanam, among all the mountains, Meruhu, Meru. The Lord is saying something glorious about that mountain. Special feature of that mountain indicates the divine presence in it. In everything He is present, but in some things His presence is clearly visible. Earlier we saw in the 7th chapter, Balam Balamatam-asmi. Balam Balavatam-asmi. Balavan means a very strong person. Among all the strong people, what is one thing that is special, that distinguishes them from other people? The strength they have. The strength a strong person has is a direct indication of God's presence. He is present in everyone, especially visible his presence becomes in some people. Then he said in the 7th chapter we studied, in chapter 7 verses 8, 9, 10, 11. Those 4 verses also indicate the Vibhuti, divine presence in many things. There Bhagavan Sri Krishna said, Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayo. Shashi means moon. Surya means sun. In the moon and the sun, Shashi Suryayo, of them, Prabha Asmi. Prabha means effulgence. Why is the sun known? The one feature that we know about sun, that sun is known for is this brightness, brilliance, his power, energy that radiates every second, sustaining life here, sustaining everything, all processes, actions on this earth. That is what his sun is known for. So that is the divine presence. That comes in other places too. The power of the sun to produce all that life-sustaining energy is God's power in the sun. We have also power in us, each one of us ordinary people. But it's not so outstanding that you can see God's power in us. You have function like everybody else. But special presence, special visibility, specially visible is powers of God's power in the sun. Shashi, moon also produces light. But it's a big difference. Moon's light is a reflection of the sun's light. And while sun's light is dazzling and very powerful, it can burn, moon's light is soothing, cooling. Same light coming reflected from the moon is soothing moonlight that nourishes the plants. That comes in the 15th chapter. So like this we have to recognize the presence of God in all and everything. These are examples. Now we go to verse number 24. Purodhasam cha mukhyam mam vidhi partha brahaspatim senani namaham skandaha sarasamasmi sagaraha. Purodhasam means among priests. So many priests are there, they do puja, worship under the rituals. Among the gods, they also have a priest. Like we have priests, human priests, gods have a priest also, who can perform their ceremonies, teach them. Among the teachers, among the all priests, Viddhimam Brahaspatim, Viddhipartha Brahaspatim. Brahaspati is the Guru. We recognize Brahaspati, the physical equivalent as the planet Guru. Planet Guru is called Guru because it is very heavy. Guru also means heavy. Among the gods, Brahaspati is their priests. That means he knows more about all the branches of knowledge. He is the Lord of all knowledge. And then he can do all the priests, all the rituals and everything that gods need. Vidhi Partha Brahaspatim. Know me to be Brahaspati, the chief among the priests. Senani namaham skanda. Sena means army. Senani means the chief of an army. Senadipati. The head of the commander-in-chief of an army. Among all of those, among the armies of gods, gods have armies and demons have armies. There is fight among them, between them every now and then. Among the gods, Skanda is the commander-in-chief of the armies of God. Skanda. There is one whole Purana called Skanda Purana. Describing his glories. Senani namaham skanda sarasamasmi sagaraha. Among lakes, Saras means a pond, a lake, a collection of water, big or small. Among all the lakes, Some are very big, some are small. I am the sea. Aham Sagara. Sagara means ocean. Ocean is the biggest collection of water. There is water in a small well also, but among all the containers, natural containers of water, I am the ocean, the biggest. Ocean is the largest collection of water, and that remains unperturbed. Even so many hundreds of rivers flow into the ocean and empty their waters into the ocean. That is the speciality of the ocean. In the second chapter, the very interesting verse about this quality of the verse. It is chapter 2, verse number 70. 70, or I'll tell you the exact number. 70. Chapter 2, verse number 70. There Bhagavan says, just like an ocean absorbs enormous quantities of water brought in by numerous rivers and still remains calm, does not exceed its boundaries, ocean. So many rivers are bringing water all the time, 24 hours. In the same way, that's the quality of the ocean, to remain unperturbed no matter what comes, what happens. To remain unperturbed, undisturbed, remains calm. In the same way, a sthita prajna, a sage of steady wisdom, who has conquered all the desires and other weaknesses such as anger, jealousy, etc., such a person remains absolutely calm and unperturbed, even though many temptations and provocations are coming from all sides all the time. An ordinary person easily gets distracted and reacts. Every small thing he becomes upset. Ordinary people. But sthita prajna, like an ocean, no matter what anybody does or says, that does not disturb him at all. He remains absolutely calm. Let people say whatever they want, praise or blame, honor or infamy or whatever comes, pain or pleasure, all dualities. Like everybody else, sthita prajna also has the same problem. People treat him in the same way as they treat other people. But the sthita prajna, like an ocean, remains calm and unperturbed. That is the quality of the ocean. Sarasamasmi sagaraha. That is verse number 24. In these special things, we can easily recognize the divine presence. That is the idea. It's present in all, but in some things His presence is clearly visible. Verse number 25. Maharshinam bruguraham giramasmyekamaksharam yajnanam japayajñasmi stavaradam Himalayaha. Maharshinam Bhrugu aham. I am Bhrugu among Maharshis. So many Maharshis are there, and there is a group of 7 rishis called Sapta Rishis. Among them, Bhrugu is a prominent one. Bhrugu also figures in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Bhruguru Vaivarunihi Varunam Pitaram Upasasara. Bhrugu was a great sage, but when he was young, his father was Varuna. Varunam Pitaram Bhruguhu Upasasara, approaches his father as a student. Those days that was the custom. Father used to be the teacher, son would be the student. Then Bhrugu asks his father Varuna, Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti. Bhagava, O Lord, addressing father. Nowadays in some cultures, children address father by their first name. No such thing. Father means God Himself. Matradeva Bhava, Pitradeva Bhava, you know from the Upanishad. We have to respect and call our parents respectfully, using respectful names and terms. Bhagava, O Lord, Bhrigu addresses his father Varuna. Adihi Bhagava, Brahma, teach me Brahman. He was seeking self-knowledge, Brahma Jnana, he was seeking. That Bhrigu. And then when Bhrigu asked his father seeking knowledge of Brahman, Varuna gives this reply. He says, Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayantya visammishanti tadvijijñāsasva tad brahma iti. Beautiful answer. Memorable definition of Brahman. Brahman cannot be defined, but this is as close as one can get. Definition of Brahman. He says, the father says, Yatava imani bhutani jayante. That's from which all the beings have come. Ye na jatani jivanti. All jatani, all the beings who have come into existence, ye na jivanti. They live by his power, sustained by him. Yat prayanti avisammishanti. At the end of their existence, all the beings go back and merge into Brahman. That entity, which is the source of everything, sustainer of everything, and the destination of everything, that is Brahman. Tad Brahma, tad vijijñāsasva. Inquiry into that. Jignasa means inquiry, seeking knowledge. Inquiry into that Brahman. So that Bhrigu, who sought self-knowledge from his father, he is prominent among the Maharshis. Maharshinam Bhriguraham. So many Maharshis are there. This Rishi stands out, Bhrigu. Giramasmekamaksharam. Gira means vacham, sounds, speech sound. Whatever we say, that is gi or vak or speech. Among all the sounds, Giram, ekamaksharam asmi. I am that one syllable, Om. That is the most important sound of all the sounds. So many sounds are there, so many names of gods and goddesses are there. They all have power. But the most powerful sound is Om. In the Vedas, Om is described as the sound equivalent of all divinity, all aspects of God, with form, without form, with name, without name. All those aspects of divinity are represented by one sound, Om. If you just chant Om only, that is enough. So in the 8th chapter we saw, when a person leaves the body, chanting Om, he will reach me, the Lord says. Omityekaksharam Brahma Vyaharan Mamanusmaran Yah Prayati Tyajan Deham Sayati Paramam Gatim. That's 8th chapter verse. That person who leaves the body chanting Om, he reaches me. That's the power of Om. Can give liberation. Chanting of Om can give liberation. O Giramasmi ekamaksharam. Yajñānām japayajñosmi. This is very important for us, for our daily spiritual practice. Of all the kinds of yajñas, japa is the most important form of yajña. In the 4th chapter we saw there are many different kinds of yajñas. Jnana yajña, tapo yajña, dravya yajña. Dravya yajña means pouring material in a home of fire, ghee and other things. They are all yajñas, different types of yajñas. Among all the kinds of yajñas that we can do, the most powerful, most effective yajña that we can do is chanting of God's name or mantra. Yajñānām japayajñosmi. That alone can take us to liberation. simply chanting God's name. We don't have to do any other rituals, we don't have to go anywhere, do something else. That you saw, this chanting God's name is not only in Hinduism, it's in Christianity and Islam also. To some extent, not all denominations of Christians do this chanting of God's name, some denominations do. Like the Eastern Russian Orthodox Church, I am told they chant God's name, they have Jesus mantra. You have heard of this story of the Russian peasant, The Way of the Pilgrim, and the pilgrim continues the way. That's the book, The Way of the Pilgrim, and the pilgrim continues the way. That describes how an ordinary person with no education or any special quality chanted the Jesus mantra 24 hours, even in sleep. How could he do that one? Because he got instruction from a Christian monk on how to chant God's name. The story is very long and interesting, but I will mention briefly that Christian monk gave him a mantra, this peasant, Russian peasant. He was barely literate, he could read, that is all, old Russian. That mantra was, Jesus Christ have mercy on me. That is their mantra. We have so many mantras, they all have a small number of mantras. Jesus Christ have mercy on me. So the teacher told him to repeat the mantra 3,000 times a day. That was difficult because this person was not used to chanting mantras 3,000 times. Takes a long time, and all the problems we encountered he also had. Headache and mind wandering, sleep, knee pain, leg pain, backache, everything came. But he persisted, he didn't give up. After 2 weeks he goes back to the teacher. Teacher says repeat the mantra 6,000 times a day. He goes back and diligently repeats it. Takes whole day. Does not give up. By this time it became a little bit easy because of his persistent practice. Though there were problems in the beginning, gradually it became easier and easier. Then he was told to repeat 12,000 times a day. He could do that one. All the time he was repeating. With every breath he was repeating that mantra, non-stop. Nothing, he didn't allow anything to disturb that repetition of mantra. Then the teacher said, you don't have to keep track of the number of japa, you just keep doing all the time. That story is very fascinating. So many interesting things happened in that peasant's life. So that's all described in his journal. He wrote a journal. He didn't leave his name in the journal. We don't know his name. He calls himself the pilgrim because he was on a pilgrimage to Constantinople, their Christians' holy place where they want to go and spend their last years of life, give up their body there, like Kashi, Varanasi for us. So that the only thing that he did was constantly round the clock, even in sleep also it was going on without his effort. Ajapa japa, it is called. That is the power of japa. So here he says, verse number 24, Yajna Nam Japa Yajñosmi. And so Holy Mother used to do 100,000 japa every morning. In addition to all the other household duties and cooking, there were no facilities, no running water, no tap and no bathroom. And she had to finish all the ablutions before people started coming in Dakshineshwar, because she would not go out. She was a modest woman. She would not go out, come out of Nahabad when people were there. So how much difficulty she got. But still, she would get up at 3 o'clock and repeat 100,000 times her mantra on behalf of all the disciples who took mantra from her. And they would not, most of them would not do, many of them would not do the japa they were supposed to do. And on all their behalf, on behalf of all of them, she read the mantra 100,000 times. But Swami, her disciple, Virajananda, Swami Virajananda, he at one time went home to recover from sickness, and he started doing japa all the time in a room, in his parents' home. His parents did not disturb him. And at the peak, he could repeat japa 125,000 times a day. How he could do that many, I have no idea, but for some time he did that one. So like that japa alone can lead us to liberation. Nothing else need be done. Among all the yajna, spiritual practices, I am yajnanam japa yajñosmi. Very special, very powerful means. Simple at the same time. One does not need to have any special qualifications or anything else. Anybody can do japa. Only requirement is devotion and diligence. Yajñānām japa yajñosmi sthavarānām himalayah. Sthavara means unmoving objects. Jangama means moving objects. Peoples, animals, we all move. Trees and hills and mountains, they don't move. Among all those non-moving objects, Sthavarānām aham Himalayah, the greatest mountain. Himalaya is where Shiva is residing. Shiva's abode is Himalaya, a very sacred place. I am Himalaya among the non-moving objects, mountains. Please come. Then verse number 26. Ashvattha sarva vrikshanam devarshīnām ca nāradaha gandharvānām chitraratha siddhānām kapilo munihi. Sarva vrikshanam, among all the trees, so many kinds of trees are there. Ashvattha, aham Ashvattha, he is the Ashvattha tree. Ashvattha tree is very auspicious. People go around the tree and do worship there. God's presence, Ashvattha tree. So many other trees are there. Only for Ashvattha tree people go and offer worship. They do circumambulation 108 times, something like that. Ashvattha, sarva vrikshanam ashvattha. Ashvattha sarva vrikshanam devarshīnām ca nāradaha. Among all the devarshis, there are different kinds of rishis. Rishi means a sage. Devarshi, many devarshis are there. Devas have become rishis. Those who are born as devas, they can become rishis. Not all of them, but some become rishis, like Narada. You say born God, but he became a rishi, maharshi, devarshi. Then there are rajarshi. Kings used to be rishis at some time in the past. Rishi means, though they were administering a whole kingdom, they were leading a spiritual life, they were also teachers of Vedanta. Many kings were teachers of Vedanta. They had to study Vedanta, though they were kings. Their duty was to administer the kingdom, take care of the subjects, but at the same time, they were great Vedantins. There among Rajarshis, Janaka is the Rajarshi. We will come across that later, Janaka. And then Rishis, people who have become Rishis. Vishwamitra also was a Rajarshi. He was a king, then he became a Rishi. Like that one. Then other ordinary people also can become Rishis by doing spiritual practice. So among all those Devarshis, Devarshīnām ca nāradaha. Narada is the best among them. In him you can see the divine glory, the divine power, the power of knowledge and devotion, more devotion. Narada is always chanting Om Namo Narayana, 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 like that. Always chanting non-stop God's name. Narada Maharshi. And you should be familiar with his devotional aphorisms, Bhakti Sutra, Narada Bhakti Sutra. Sri Ramakrishna was very fond of that Narada's Bhakti Sutra. He would often say, for Kali Yuga, the path of Bhakti described by Narada is the best spiritual practice. Because Jnana Yoga, all those things are difficult. To say I am Brahman when having body consciousness does not work. So Narada says, give simple instructions. He glorifies the holy company of other devotees, Then she says the main feature of his teaching is, among other things, Avyavarta Bhajanat. Bhajana means worshipping God. Worship does not mean only ritualistic worship, chanting His name. Avyavarta, uninterrupted, without interruption, chanting God's name. One thing. Second thing Narada says, many things he says, one other thing Narada says is, Tadasmita Akila Acharata. Achara means our actions, whatever we do. Tadarpita Akila Acharata. We have to dedicate all our actions to God. As Sri Krishna asks us to do in the Gita, Narada said the same thing. Tadarpita Akila Acharata. Another thing Narada says is, Tadvismarane Parama Vyakulata. Vismriti means forgetfulness. If you forget God, if you don't remember God even for a short time, Tadvismarane, even if you forget God, what a devotee feels great anguish. Parama Vyakulata. Vyakulata means anguish. Now, forgotten God. For 10 seconds I have not thought about Him, wasted so much time. That kind of remorse will come to a devotee when the devotee forgets God even for a short time. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also same thing. Yuga yatam nimeshana, like that. Even if for the twinkling of an eye, if you don't remember God, that's a waste of time. So we wasted our precious time, like that. That is what Narada thought. Devarshinam cha Naradaha. Among all the Devarshis, I am Narada. Gandharvanam Chittaratha. Among all the Gandharvas are beings just above us. They are very adepts in the arts, fine arts, music, dance, painting, all those things. Some of them were very great. One Gandharva who wrote this Shivamimna Stotram, Pushpadanta his name was. They were poets also. Then another Gandharva whose story comes in the Ramayana. His name was Kabanda. That he was a Gandharva. Gandharvas were very handsome people, beautiful people. So this Gandharva, one Gandharva, somehow he did something to irritate Indra. Indra became upset with that Gandharva. So Indra has this Vajrayudha. And then in anger, Indra gave a big blow to that Gandharva's head like this, which is Vajrayudha. The blow was so severe that Gandharva's whole body had telescoped, head, face and everything came to the torso only, and there was a mouth here. The face, mouth came here. And then hands were there. So he was deformed. Then he begs for forgiveness. Indra says, all right, I cannot take my word back. Sri Rama will come looking for Sita, then you will see him, then you tell him about Sita, and he will release you from this deformity. So that was happened. Rama and Lakshmana were searching for Sita in the forest. Then when they were roaming about in the forest, a pair of hands comes from both sides, huge, enveloping them and everything. If they didn't take action, they would be put into the stomach, go straight away. So Rama recognizes and tells Arjuna, tells Lakshmana, one arm you take care of that, and I will take the other arm and we will finish this. That's what happened. As soon as Lakshmana cut the arms, then Gandharva immediately regained his normal, beautiful Gandharva form. The deformity went away. And then he directs them to the Shabari Ashrama, Rama and Lakshmana. She will give you directions. There is Ashrama, Shabari Ashrama. You will go there, she is waiting for you. Like that, the story continues. So, Gandharvanam Chitraratha. Among all the Gandharvas, one Gandharva named Chitraratha is most famous. Siddhanam Kapilo Manihi. Siddha means, here says Siddhanam Janmanaiva Dharmajnana Vairagyai Shayam Praptanam Kapilo Manihi. Some people are, by birth they are Jnanis. Sri Ramakrishna explains, four kinds of people. Baddha, a bound person who remains in ignorance. Then mumukshu, one who tries to achieve knowledge. And then siddha, who achieves knowledge with effort. And then fourth one is nitya siddha, who are always siddha, perfect people from birth. They are gyanis from birth. So among them, among the gyanis from birth, siddhanam, Kapilo Munihi. Kapila was a great sage. Kapila Maharshi. So that is the speciality. They have knowledge, self-knowledge from birth. They don't have to struggle to gain self-knowledge. They are Nitya Siddhas. Among them, they have from very birth a high degree of virtue, knowledge, detachment and power. This Nitya Siddhas. Among them, Kapila is an outstanding person, stands out among the Siddhas. Then you go to verse number 27. Uchai Sravasamashvanam Viddhimam Amritodbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam cha naradhipam. Ashwanam Uchchaishravasam Mam Vidhi. Amritodbhavam, born from Amrita. The story is the gods and demons wanted to get nectar from the ocean. So they started churning the ocean. And then so many things came. Good and bad things came. Lakshmi came, this beautiful horse, Airavata, Uchchaishravas came. So many things came, good and bad. A great, most destructive poison also came. Hala came from the ocean, during the churning of the ocean by gods and demons. Then that hala began destroying everything and everybody. So people, gods were panicky and they prayed to Lord Shiva, what to do? We will all be killed by this poison which came out of this from the ocean, when we churned the ocean. So Shiva says, no problem, I will take care of it. He just swallowed it, but he did not let it go inside. It stayed in his throat. That's why he is called Vishakantha. That poison did not harm him, he just let it stay in his throat. So like that story goes. Among all those things that came from the ocean during the churning by gods and demons, this was one, Uchchai Sravasamashvana. Among all the ashwas, all the horses, Uchchai Sravas is the greatest one. Mam Amritodbhavam Vidhi. Mam Vidhi Amritodbhavam. I am born from Amrita, nectar. So that horse, Indra has Uchchai Sravas. Uchchai Sravasamashvanam. Among all the horses, I am Uchchai Sravas. Then, Airavatam Gajendranam. Gajendra means the king of all elephants. Airavatam, Iravatyaha apatyam Gajendranam hastischaranam tam mam vidhi. There was a lady, Iravati, and Iravati's son was this Airavata. Airavata was the great elephant. Among all the elephants, he is the most powerful, most beautiful element, Airavata. Naranam cha naradhipam. Among all the people, Nara means human being. Nara, Nari, human beings, male and female. Among all the people, Naranam, Naradhipam vidhi, know me to be the king, Naradhipa. Naresha, Naradhipa, Naradhipati, king. This is interesting. In the earlier days, kings were not just administrators ruling the kingdom. They were also great Vedantins. And they used to study Vedanta and they were teaching Vedanta. Like Janaka was Vedantin. He was a king administering the kingdom with complete detachment. Somebody, Swami Atmajnani gave this story a couple of weeks ago. When Janaka was the king, some person came running, messenger. What's the problem? The whole kingdom is on fire. Janaka said it's okay. It didn't bother him. Things were all right later, but that kind of detachment, unperturbed by anything, any kind of bad news or anything, does not perturb such a person. He was a Rajarshi, Jnana, Brahmajnani. Janaka was a Brahmajnani. There was a great conversation between Janaka the king and the Brahmajnani Ashtavakra. That some of you studied that one, Ashtavakra Samhita. So kings were also jnanis and teachers. One king, the last king, when India got independence, became a republic in 1947 and a republic in 1950. What happened? All the old small kingdoms, there were so many small kingdoms in India. Each had a king and own small country, capital and army, etc. So the kings all lost their kingdom. Everything became a republic. And they were retired. They retired from the position of king. There was no more king. The last king I saw in Karnataka, Mysore state, was known as Mysore state. That king, he was a great Vedantin. He wrote books on Vedanta. He also composed many classical songs. They were scholars, Vedantins, teachers and artists. They promoted all these things in their kingdom. In the court, king's court, they would invite all the scholars in every branch of knowledge, artists, musicians and Vedic scholars. They were given subsidy, some job, and they had to maintain and spread this art, this knowledge. That was, kings were doing that one. And king was known as Vishnu's Amsha. Every king was known as an incarnation, a part of Vishnu. So people were worshipping the king. When king came, everybody would stand up and bow down as if the Lord himself has come. All that has changed now. Now the present leaders, less said, the better. Nara nam cha nara ripam. 28. Ayudhanamaham vajram dhenu namasmi kamaduk prajanaschasmi kandarpaha sarpanamasmi vasukihi. Ayudha means weapon. So many kinds of weapons are there. Ayudhanam aham vajram. I am Vajra. Vajra is the weapon used by Indra. Very powerful weapon. Most powerful weapon is Vajra. Dhenu namasmi kamaduk. Dhenu means cow. Among all the cows, one cow, the divine cow, Kamadhenu, that resides in the heaven. That is the best cow, best among all the cows. It can give anything. Ordinary cow gives only milk, but the Kamadhenu can give whatever you want. Anything a person wants, she can give. And she was with Vasishtha for some time. Vasishtha was attacked by the Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra was the king. When the king came to Vasishtha's ashrama one day with his army, with his retinue, Vishwamitra arranged a big feast, fed them very well. Then Vasishtha fed all the visitors very well with a big feast. Vishwamitra asked Vasishtha, how could you prepare such a big meal? You don't have anything, you live in a hermit, in a cottage. Then Vasishtha says, I don't have anything, but I have this Kamadhenu with me, given to me by the gods, and Kamadhenu produces whatever I want. Then Vishwamitra wanted to have that Kamadhenu. I am the king, they should be with me. Like this, he requests Vasishtha. Vasishtha says, this is the only thing I have, you have a whole kingdom, army, wealth and treasury. This is the only thing, if you take it away, what will I do? But Vishwamitra was insistent, adamant, he wanted to have it. So finally, it came to physical confrontation. Vishwamitra brought a big army to drag away the Kamadhenu, but Kamadhenu produced a much bigger army and killed all the Vishwamitra's army. So Vishwamitra became very upset. Though I should have this. So he goes to Vasishtha himself to forcibly take away the Kamadhenu. Then what happened? Vasishtha was a sage. So he simply requested Kamadhenu to protect him, and Vasishtha put his Brahmadanda, his staff which he used to use for meditation, front of him, stood behind that Brahmadanda. Vasishtha stood behind the Brahmadanda. Then Vishwamitra used all the weapons. All the weapons were stopped by the Brahmadanda. Nothing could go beyond that Brahmadanda protector. Then Vishwamitra begs for forgiveness. The story continues, and he becomes he performs lot of tapas, becomes a Rajarshi. So like that story goes. Dhenu namasmi Kamaduk, verse 28 we are doing. Among all the cows, I am Kamadhenu, gives everything. Pradhanascha Kandarpa. Among all the people, Pradhanascha Kandarpa. Among the begetters, I am Kandarpa. It says here, Asmi Kamaduk, Prajanayata Asmi Kandarpaha Kamaha. Kandarpa is what we call the god of love. Manmatha. His another name is Kandarpa. So it says here, Kandarpaha Kamaha. Among all the people who produce offspring, I am Kama, I am Kandarpa. Kandarpa, Pradhanascha Asmi Kandarpaha. Lost it. Sarpanamasmi Vasukihi. Sarpa means a serpent. There are so many different subcategories within the broad category of serpents. Some of them are very, very famous, like Vasuki. This Vasuki was most powerful among the Sarpas. When the baby Krishna was born, his parents were in a jail, confined to a jail by Kamsa. And then as soon as the baby was born, beautiful boy baby Krishna was born, all the locks and doors became unlocked on their own. So baby's father took the baby in a basket and put it on his head and crossed the river. Was crossing the river. Heavy rain came. Then Vasuki went behind and spread his hoods, protecting the child from rain. Then it goes to Yashoda's place. So Vasuki. In the life of Holy Mother, Swami Sharadananda played a very, very significant part. Whenever she needed something, first person she would think of was Swami Sharadananda. He was there. Whatever she wanted, whatever was needed to be done, he was there. Day and night he served her all his life. So finally, Holy Mother said, Sharat, that means Swami Sharadananda, Sharat is my Vasuki. Whatever I need, he is there to protect me, provide what I need. So that was how Vasuki, Swami Sharadananda became the caretaker. With great devotion, day and night, he was ready to serve Sharada Devi. Sarpanamasmi Vasukihi. There are other categories among Sarpas, they will come later. 29. Anantaschasmi Naganam Varuno Yadasamaham Pitrunam Aryama Chasmi Yamasyam Yamatamaham. Naganam Anantaha. Among the serpents called Nagas, then I am Ananta. Among the serpent category, the small different categories are there. So Vasuki is the head of one such category, and Ananta is another outstanding serpent. What is the role of Ananta? You have heard the name Ananta Shayana. Vishnu is known as Ananta Shayana. That means a big serpent, he serves as a bed and Vishnu is lying down on that one. That serpent is called Ananta. His sacred duty is to serve as a comfortable bed for Vishnu to rest upon. Anantaschasmi Naganam Varuno Yadasamaham. Yeah, among the creatures in water, I am Varuna. Now what does that mean? Varuna, the king of the water spirits. I am Varuna, the king of water spirits. Yadasam aham, what does it say here? Yadasam aham, abdevatanam raja aham. Among all the sources of water, among them, most important is their Adhidevata king is Varuna. Varuna is worshipped when rain does not fall. They do yajna, special yajna, seeking rain so crops can grow and people can have water to drink. So Varuna is the king among all the categories of water. I am Varuna, the king of the water spirits. Abdevatanam raja aham Varuna Varuno yadasamaham Pitranam aryama chasmi. Among all the mains, departed souls, when people die, they go to a special place, Brahma, Pitraloka it is called. They stay for some time and then they are reborn or go to the next birth, etc. That in Pitraloka there are mains, departed spirits live there as Pitros. And Orthodox people, they offer offerings to them on every Amavasya day, Tarpana they give, to Pitru Tarpana they have to give. And during one fortnight following the Ganesha Chaturthi in Bhadrapada month is called Pitrupaksha. That Pitrupaksha, Orthodox people, they offer offerings to all the Pitrus for 2 weeks. So that like Pitru. Among all the Pitrus, departed people, Aryama Chasmi, I am one person called Aryaman. Yamasamyamatamaham. Samyama means control. Samyamanam kurvatam aham yamaha. Among all the people who can control, kings can control the subjects and the army, etc. Among all these people who can, the head of the department can control the small number of people in a department, like that. People who can control. Among all the people who can control, I am Yama. Yama controls everything. When the time comes, Yama will be there to take us to his kingdom. Yama samyamata maham 30. Prahlādascha asmi daityanam kala kalayita maham mriganam cham mrigendroham vainateyascha pakshinam. Daityanam Prahlāda asmi. Among all the demons, many demons like Ravana, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, they all figure prominently in the Vir Puranas and Ramayana, etc. Among all the demons, Daityanam aham Prahlāda. The best among all them was Prahlāda. Though he was born in a Daitya family, Asura family, he was a great jnani, great devotee of Vishnu. You know the story of Prahlāda. His father sent him to a teacher to teach him everything. And then whatever the teacher taught, the Prahlāda began to repeat Vishnu's name, became devoted to Vishnu. Father Hiranyakashipu became very upset and he blames the teacher. What are you teaching my son to be devoted to Vishnu? I am the chief of all the people. Vishnu is nobody. I am the chief. I am God. People should worship me. Like they know the story, Bhagavata story. So that Prahlāda, the most prominent among all the Daityas. Daityas means the demons. Daityanam Diti Vamshanam. Those who were born to Diti. Aditi, Diti. 2 people were there in the Puranas. Diti's children are all Daityas, demons. Aditi's children all became gods. Prahlādascha asmi daityanam kala kalayatamaham. Kala, I am time. Among the reckoners, I am time. Some time is something which is used to reckon things, events one after another. That's Bhagavan himself is the Kala. In the 11th chapter verse number 32. We'll study next time after this chapter 11. There is a very famous verse number 33 in chapter 11. There Sri Krishna says something very significant. He says to Arjuna, Sri Krishna says to Arjuna 11:33. Arjuna, you think you are going to kill all these people, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Duryodhana, etc. Forget that you are not the doer. I have already killed them. I am the one who does everything. What is your role then? Just to be an instrument in his hand. Just be an instrument and go through the emotions. I have already taken care of. Don't think that you are the doer. This is what Sri Ramakrishna said many times in the gospel. He said, God is the doer. People erroneously think they are the doers. Oh Divine Mother, you do all your actions yourself. Ignorant people say that they are the doers. That was Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. In the same way, Kala Kalayata Maham. Among all the basis for reckoning events, one after another, I am Kala. In the 11th chapter 33, he is the B instrument. One verse before that one, 32nd verse in chapter 11, Sri Krishna says, Kalosmi Lokakshaya Krit. I am Kala, who devours everything. Lokakshaya means whole universe is devoured by me. I am the time. I am Kala. In time everything happens. So, Kala Kalayata Maham Mriganam cha Mrigendroham. Mriga means a beast. Beasts that live in the forest, lions and tigers and other things. Among all the beasts that live in the forest, Aham Mrigendraha, I am the king of all the Mrigas. Usually lion is called Mrigendra, king of all the lions. Here in the commentary it can be either lion or a tiger. It says here, Mriganam cha Mrigendraha, Simho Vyagrova Aham. I am either Simha or Vyagra, lion or a tiger. Both are very powerful. They control all other animals. All the other animals are afraid of lion and tiger. So that I am, the most powerful among all the beasts. Mriganam cha Mrigendroham Vainateyascha Pakshinam. Pakshi means a bird. Among all the birds, I am Vainateya. Vainateya is another name for Garuda. Garuda is Vishnu's Vahana. Vishnu uses Garuda as his vehicle to travel. So Garuda is the best among all the birds. Vainateyascha Pakshi is called Vainateya because his Garuda's mother's name was Vinuta. Vinuta's son Vainateya. So he is the best among all the birds, Garuda. Do verse number 31. Pavatamasmi Ramashastra-bhritam aham Jashanam makaraschasmi Srotasamasmi Janavi. Pavatam means among all the, Pavanam means purifying. Pavitra Pavana means purity, purifying. Pavatam, from all the things that purify other things, I am Pavana. I am the wind. Wind purifies everything. Sometimes they say in other scriptures, fire is the purifier of everything. That is why there is this fire that Sita went through that fire, came out alive. That means she stood the test of purity. Fire could not also touch her. She was so pure that even fire could not do anything to her. Fire is the purifier. Here it says wind is the purifier. Sometimes they say water is the purifier. They are all purifying. For various rituals we use water as a purifier. Pavana Pavata Masmi Ramashastra-bhritamaham. Shastra means a weapon. Shastra-bhrit means one who holds a weapon. Among all the people who hold weapons, Shastra-bhritam, aham Ramaha. I am Rama. Rama always holds as a bow and carries arrows, bow and arrow. Rama, Lakshmana, both of them. Among all the people who carry weapons, I am Rama. Jashanam makaraschasmi. Here it says Jashanam Matsyadinam. Makaraha nama jati visheshaha. Among all the creatures that live in water, fish, etc., I am Makara means I am the shark. It says it is among all the aquatic creatures, I am the shark, most powerful. Jashanam makaraschasmi srotasamasmi jannavi. Among all the rivers that flow, I am Jannavi. Ganga is also called Jannavi. There was a rishi named Janhu, and from his head the Ganga comes after coming from Shiva's head. So she is called Jannavi. Srota Samasmi Jannavi. Among the rivers, I am the Ganges. Ganges is also called Jannavi. That is the list continues. A few more verses are there. The main thing to remember is, if you take any category of beings, animals, people, plants and whatever, you take any category of beings, some special quality is there in everything in that category, every member of that class. But one among them stands out so prominently that you can see clearly the divine presence there. So he points out what are those things in which we can see clearly God's divine presence. Among all the categories, he points out one in each. Among Merusha Kiranamaham, like that one. Among all the mountains, I am Meru. Then he says Himalaya. Himalaya, Stavaranam Himalaya. Stavara means among all unmoving objects, non-moving objects, I am Himalaya, like that one. So what we have to do, how do we use this information is, whenever you see some object, a person or a tree or an animal or some other entity, when you see, you have to recognize the divine presence in that one. Because in that category, that presence, God's presence is present in a certain way, balam balavatamasmi, like that one. Among all the people who are strong, I am the strength. What gives them strength is the divine presence in them. That's how we have to recognize God's presence in all and everything. So that chapter will continue. Next time we can finish chapter 10. The rest of the verses are similar. If we can finish, that will be nice. 42 verses are there. So we will stop here and say the closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavanta Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy, may all be free from diseases and other problems, may there be harmony and no ill will among all the beings, and may no one be subject to any kind of misery. Om peace, may there be peace and joy in our hearts, Adhyatmika Shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings, Adi Bhautika Shanti. And may there be peace everywhere in nature, Adi Daivika Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you all, if you stay well, and God willing, we shall see you next week.